Have you ever walked into a quiet house, looked around, and felt like something was missing? Not just the noise or the movement, but a sense of purpose, of being needed? Maybe the kids are all grown up, building their own lives, and suddenly, it's just you. The mornings feel a bit too still, the phone doesn't ring as much, and you find yourself wondering, what now? Asterisk, you're not alone in that feeling. It's something so many of us experience after 60. When you spend decades raising children, managing a home, or building a career, it's easy to tie your identity to those roles. And when they change or disappear altogether, you're left with this space that feels unfamiliar. The truth is, this phase of life, while often quiet, can also be one of the most meaningful and joyful chapters you've ever lived. But it starts with rebuilding. It's not from scratch, but from experience, from wisdom, from strength. Asterisk, today we're going to talk about how to bring that joy and purpose back into your life after the kids leave the nest. Whether they moved across the country or just around the corner, the emotional gap can feel the same. But here's the good news: you can fill that space with things that truly light you up. Just have to take the first steps. So let's talk about what that might look like. Asterisk, one of the most powerful things you can do after the kids leave is rediscover what brings you joy. Think about that for a moment. Not what makes your spouse happy, not what your children or grandchildren need from you, but what you love. When was the last time you asked yourself, what do I want to do with my time today? It sounds simple, but after years of putting others first, it can feel strange. Maybe you used to love painting, gardening, reading, or writing. Maybe you've always dreamed of learning an instrument or traveling somewhere new. The spark doesn't disappear, it just gets buried under responsibilities. Now's the time to dig it up again. Give yourself permission to explore. Take a class at your local community center. Try a new hobby without worrying if you'll be good at it. Do it because it makes your soul feel alive. Asterisk. Now, while you're rediscovering what you love, helps tremendously to create a new routine that's just for you. When the kids were home, your days probably revolved around school pickups, dinner schedules, laundry, or homework help. Without those built-in tasks, the days can start to blur together. That's when feelings of boredom or loneliness creep in. So instead of letting the day decide what happens, you decide. Wake up at the same time every morning. Make your bed. Plan one meaningful activity, something that makes you feel good every single day. Maybe it's a walk in the park, coffee with a friend, an online class, or just journaling. When you give your day structure, even if it's flexible, you give it purpose. And when your days have purpose, your weeks start to feel fulfilling again. Asterisk. And here's something else that can change everything: reaching out and reconnecting. You might think everyone's busy. They have their own lives. But chances are there's someone out there feeling just like you. Another friend who's sitting at home wondering if anyone remembers her birthday. Someone who also finds the silence a little too loud. Send that text. Make that phone call. Join a group in your community, even if it feels intimidating at first. Whether it's a walking club, a book group, or a fitness class for seniors. These spaces are full of people just like you, people searching for connection, conversation, and laughter. Asterisk. And while you're reconnecting with others, don't forget about your relationship with yourself. So many of us reach this age with a deep well of unspoken emotions. Regrets, guilt, questions about whether we did enough, whether we were a good enough parent, partner, friend. But now is the time to show yourself grace. You did your best. You loved, you gave, you showed up. Now it's time to love yourself with that same effort. Try writing letters to your younger self. Meditate. Take quiet walks and just listen, not to the noise of the world, but to your own thoughts. You'll be surprised how much peace and strength you can find inside. When you finally give yourself the time to look, asterisk, it's also okay to feel sad. To grieve the change, we don't talk about that enough, the grief that comes with an empty nest. It's real. It's not weakness. It means you cared deeply, and that's something to honor. But what you do with that space, that sadness, where your power lies, because you can choose to sit in it forever, or you can choose to plant something new there, something beautiful, something that grows. Asterisk, think about the people who've inspired you. Chances are they weren't the ones who had everything go smoothly. They were the ones who kept going. Took what life gave them and said, okay, now, let me make something meaningful out of this. You can be one of those people. Right now, asterisk. And if you've ever thought, it's too late for me, let me gently stop you there. It is never too late to begin again. I've met people who started new businesses at 70, who fell in love again at 80, who discovered a hidden talent or a long-lost joy and found themselves laughing more than they had in decades. That could be your story too, not because someone handed them a new life, but because they chose to open a new chapter one they could write themselves. Asterisk, so. Now that we've talked about rediscovering your joy, creating a new rhythm for your day, and rebuilding connections with others and yourself, let's keep going, because there's even more you can do to bring purpose back into your life. Asterisk. Now that we've opened the door to rediscovering your own joy, creating a meaningful daily rhythm, and reconnecting with yourself and others, let's keep going. Because once you start feeling that flicker of purpose again, you realize how much life is still waiting for you. It's like waking up after a long nap. You're a little groggy at first, but then the energy starts to return. Asterisk, one powerful way to feed that energy is by giving your time to something or someone that needs it. After spending decades taking care of your children or building a career, you have this deep well of wisdom and compassion that doesn't just vanish when the house gets quiet. Volunteering is one of the most meaningful things you can do at this stage in life. And I'm not talking about anything strenuous or overwhelming. It could be as simple as reading to children at the library once a week, helping out at a local food bank, mentoring someone younger, or just being a friendly face. At a community center, these small acts remind you that you're still deeply valuable, that your presence can make someone's day better. That feels good. In fact, it feels needed, and that feeling, especially after years of caring for a family, it can be incredibly healing. Asterisk, and if you're not quite ready to jump into group settings, don't worry. You can still make a difference in quieter ways. Maybe it's writing cards to seniors in care homes who don't get visitors, or calling a neighbor who lives alone just to chat. Sometimes, smallest gestures make the biggest impact both for others and for yourself. Asterisk, another beautiful way to rebuild your sense of purpose is by learning something new. Yes, Evan, now. Especially now. Your brain thrives on new experiences. That spark you felt in your younger years when you discovered something exciting, it's still in there. It's just waiting for you to light the match again. You don't need to go back to school or sign up for a full college course, though you certainly can if you'd like. These days, there are free and low-cost options. Online for everything from learning a new language, to watercolor painting, to basic computer skills, to cooking cuisine from around the world. And don't think you have to master it. The point isn't to be the best. The point is to enjoy the process. To feel alive in the learning. Asterisk, in learning something new isn't just good for your brain, it's good for your confidence. To yourself, that growth doesn't stop at a certain age. That you're not stuck. You're still capable of evolving, of surprising yourself, of opening new doors. And when you challenge yourself, even just a little, you often discover you're stronger than you thought. Asterisk now. I want to talk about something that's deeply personal for many of us after the kids. Leave. The relationship we have with our bodies. You might look in the mirror and feel like a stranger is looking back. Wrinkles, sagging skin, stiffness, maybe even pain where there used to be ease. It's easy to feel like your best physical years are behind you. But let me tell you something, your body has carried you through so much. Through the sleepless nights, the hard work, the stress, the grief, the joy, the giving. It deserves love and care. And more than anything, it deserves your attention now. Asterisk, start small. Take a daily walk. Stretch in the morning. Try a senior-friendly yoga class, either in person or online. Drink more water. Movement doesn't have to be intense. It just has to be consistent. You don't need six-pack abs or to run marathons. What you do need is to feel strong enough to move through your day with confidence. To bend and reach and dance in your kitchen if the mood strikes. And when you start treating your body with kindness Instead of criticism, it responds. It heals. It strengthens. It becomes your partner in joy instead of your obstacle. Asterisk, alongside physical care, emotional healing is just as important.
After
The kids move on. It's not unusual to feel unappreciated, forgotten, or even invisible. You may have spent your whole life putting others first, only to find yourself wondering, did it matter? Let me say this clearly. Yes, it did. Your love, your time, your sacrifices, they shaped lives. But now it's time to turn some of that love inward. Asterisk. It's time to forgive yourself for the things you didn't know back then. To stop measuring your worth by how often someone calls or visits. And to realize that you define your value, not your past mistakes, not anyone else's opinion. If that means spending a few minutes each day saying kind things to yourself in the mirror, do it. If it means journaling your thoughts, crying when you need to, or talking to a therapist, do that too. This is your time to emotionally declutter. To let go of old burdens and make space for peace. Asterisk. And sometimes peace comes from creating something with your hands. There's a kind of magic in making something from nothing. Whether it's a garden, a knitted scarf, a painting, a poem, or even a meal creating gives you a sense of agency. It reminds you that you still have the power to build something beautiful. Don't underestimate the joy of putting a seed in the soil and watching it grow. Or writing a memory from your childhood and realizing it still brings a smile to your face. You don't need to be an artist. You just need to express yourself. Asterisk creation also gives you something to look forward to. A project, a goal, a little I can't wait to finish this feeling that gets you out of bed in the morning. That's purpose right there. And the more you engage in that feeling, the more it expands into other areas of your life. Asterisk, as you explore these new ways of finding joy, whether it's through service, learning, movement, healing, or creating. Remember this. The end of one chapter doesn't mean the end of your story. It simply means the beginning of something new. Something entirely your own. Asterisk, and if no one has told you this in a while, let me tell you, now you are still vibrant, still worthy, still capable of growing, of dreaming, of laughing so hard your belly aches. That life you helped others build. Now that we've walked through rediscovering joy, building a meaningful routine, reconnecting with others, nurturing your body and emotions, learning new things, and creating from the heart, you might already feel something beginning to shift inside. Maybe it's a small sense of hope, a flicker of excitement, a gentle nudge that says, yes, there's more for me. And there always is. Asterisk, let's talk about something many people overlook at this stage of life's adventure. I don't necessarily mean skydiving or climbing a mountain unless that's your thing, but adventure comes in many forms. It could be as simple as taking a different route on your morning walk, trying a new food, visiting a nearby town you've never explored, saying yes to something spontaneous, even if it feels a little out of your comfort zone. Asterisk C. The comfort zone is a tricky thing. It feels safe, cozy, familiar. But it can also become a quiet little trap if you stay there too long. And after 60, when so many routines are already built in, it's easy to stay in that bubble. But just outside of it, that's where the wonder lives. That's where you'll rediscover the parts of yourself that once felt fearless, curious, or playful. Asterisk, you don't have to go far or spend much to embrace a sense of adventure. Sometimes all it takes is walking into a new cafe and striking up a conversation with someone, or picking up a book in a genre you never thought you'd enjoy, or going to a free concert in the park. Life is still full of firsts, even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. But you have to give yourself permission to seek them. Asterisk, and while you're opening up to new experiences, another beautiful way to bring purpose into your life is to share your story. Have a lifetime of experiences, lessons, memories, and hard-won wisdom. It's not something to keep to yourself. There's someone out there, maybe a grandchild, a neighbor, or even a stranger who could be changed by something you've lived through. You don't need a stage or a microphone. Your kitchen table, a handwritten letter, a phone call, these are powerful places to pass on the richness of your life. Asterisk, have you ever thought about recording your memories? either through writing or even video. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just start with what you remember. The day you got married. What it felt like when your child was born. A moment of heartbreak you survived. A mistake that taught you something important. Hey, these stories aren't just for others, they're for you too. They remind you of how far you've come, of what you've overcome. And they become a legacy, a gift that keeps giving, long after you've shared it. Asterisk legacy isn't just about money or things. It's about the values you pass on. The love, the laughter, the resilience. That's what truly lasts. And you can begin building that legacy today just by being present, honest, generous with your truth. Asterisk, and while we're talking about truth, let's get honest about something else. Relationships change after the kids leave. Marriages shift, friendships evolve. Sometimes we find ourselves spending more time alone than we'd like. But being alone doesn't mean being lonely. In fact, learning how to enjoy your own company might be one of the most empowering gifts of this chapter. Asterisk, maybe for the first time in your life, you can eat what you want for dinner. Watch the shows you love without compromise. Decorate your home to reflect your taste. Choose your bedtime, your routine, your peace. This is your time to reintroduce yourself. To yourself. Go ahead, take yourself out for a nice meal. A movie solo. Sit on a bench in the sun and just breathe in the quiet. You might discover that your own presence is not only enough, it's actually quite beautiful. Asterisk. But if you do long for connection, and many of us do, don't be afraid to. Seek it. There's no shame in desiring companionship, romance, or just good conversation. Whether it's rekindling a spark with your partner, finding new friendships, or even exploring new love, there's no age limit on connection. Don't let the world convince you that those doors are closed after a certain age. They're not. They just open a little differently, and sometimes more meaningfully. Asterisk, and finally, perhaps the most important shift you can make after the kids leave, is choosing to live with intention. That means waking up each day not in reaction to life, but in response to your own heart. What do you want this day to feel like? What kind of energy do you want to bring into the world? What small joy can you create or experience today? Asterisk, living with intention doesn't mean every day is perfect or productive. It means you're aware, that you know your time is precious, and you're choosing how to use it with care. Even if that means resting, watching the birds outside your window, or calling someone just to say, I was thinking of you. Asterisk, you've spent so much of your life giving. Now it's time to receive. It's allow in beauty, peace, laughter, stillness, excitement, whatever fills your spirit. This isn't a second act. It's not a leftover chapter. This is the main story now. It's yours to write. Asterisk, you're not behind. You're right on time. Asterisk, and I want you to remember every morning. You wake up is another opportunity. Another chance to live with meaning, to feel joy, to grow, to explore, to love. You are not invisible. You are not done. You are not too old. Asterisk, you are wise. You are worthy. You are just getting started. Asterisk. So if this video touched something in your heart today, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what brings you joy, what you're discovering about yourself, or even what you're still struggling with, because this community is here for you. You don't have to go through this chapter alone. Asterisk. And if you found this message helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're creating a space here for people just like you, people who still believe that life after 60 can be bold. It's beautiful and filled with purpose. Asterisk, thank you for being here with me. Thank you. You for showing up for yourself. Here's to living your best life at any age.